Well, good afternoon, church family. It's Pastor Drew coming to you this week with the Digging Deeper Questions video. And I'm not in Digging Deeper HQ. I am out here in the world. And we're following up on Pastor Brad's video from last week, August the 8th. And if you remember, the disciples were exiting the temple with Jesus, and they pointed out just how amazing and wonderful this temple was, how beautiful the stones were. And Jesus brought them right back to reality with his discussion on what was going to happen to the temple in the not too distant future. And I'm sure that kind of startled them, but they were feeling pretty good about what was going on. And from that point, they move over across the way from the temple to the Mount of Olives. And they're again still feeling pretty good, and you can imagine the disciples with Jesus. They would have had lots of opportunities to be with him over the course of time. And I'm sure they had all kinds of different kinds of discussions with him. And many of them would have been very simple and frivolous discussions, maybe even like, Jesus, what do you think about fishing? And what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And he would have had those conversations with them like any man would have. But there were also some serious discussions that were coming. But I think their attitude seems to have been, at this point in time, they were feeling pretty good, they were feeling pretty at ease, and they approached him now with a question that may have been asked simply out of idle curiosity. They weren't necessarily expecting what Jesus was going to lay on them after they asked the question. And so in verse 4, it's recorded this way. It says, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign when all these things are about to be accomplished?" So here they've asked him a question about the end times. And I don't know what they were expecting for sure, but in my discussions and in my reading and study of the passage, I came across R. Alan Cole, who wrote a book about it, and he suspects that they were simply curious about what was going to happen. But Jesus doesn't respond with an answer to just a curious question. He responds with both barrels. And for the next 35 verses, which is the way it's recorded in Mark, he expounds on what's going to happen in the last times. Serious business. So one of the things I want to caution us about, I know I'm really curious about what Pastor Derek's going to have to say over the next few weeks regarding the end times as recorded in Mark. And I know that many people out there, including myself at times, have just been curious about, what can I learn? What can I know? What can we do to prepare for the end times? And I want to be sure that we're prepared to enter into these next few weeks understanding that there's some serious business that we're going to learn about, that we're going to be given some information that should impact the way we live, impact how our ministry progresses, and impact how we relate to others in the world. So I want to make sure that you're approaching this not out of idle curiosity, but with seriously looking for something to learn here. So over these next few weeks, our goal should be to learn more, to learn so that we can share truthfully and honestly his gospel and the things we know, so that people that we come into contact with would hear the truth. And this is my prayer, that the things that we learn this week will help us as we do this with the friends and family and co-workers and people we run into in the world. So here we are, bringing you the DDQ video from where the rubber meets the road.